Online dating is hard. Lucky for you, I have the list of the top 10 dating personality types right after a word from our sponsor. Okay, I am back. I'm so sorry. I did not record an episode last week. I think I'm going to leave it more loose to produce episodes either, every other week or every week, depending on what's going on in my personal life. But here's another episode today, so I'm glad to be back. Today, we have the top 10 online dating personality types. Just to protect the not so innocent, the names have been changed, and I may not even name any real names, but this is just a list that I put together based on my own personal experiences. And just because I went through these doesn't mean that you have to go through these. These are primarily catered towards, other women, but, you may glean something from this as well. So here we go. Top 10 personality types for online dating. Number 10, Mr. Murderer. And you may be wondering, who is that? This person will kill off anyone in their family to get out of a situation and make it appear that they are the victim. You will know this person by their traits. And what are they? They will be able to cry on command, and they may or may not use an alias as their name. So I used to date this guy, and he was so sweet, and he seemed like the perfect boyfriend. We got to the point where we actually I had a key to his place. That's where we were at. And then I just realized something doesn't add up. I just don't feel right about this. And, he told me that his sister died and he was so distraught. Like, I went over there, I'm trying to be the good girlfriend. I took time off of work. I'm cleaning his apartment for him. I'm trying to make him some food because he was so depressed. And this guy, he was crying on command. It wasn't like a cute little whimper. This was like an ugly cry. Got tears going, red face, boohooing, all of that. So who would question that? What kind of person would I be if I questioned that? Lo and behold, 2 weeks later, his sister that died posts something on Facebook. So she's well and alive. So don't always believe the hype. Now, how do you deal with this person? If this happens to you, you may want to send them a pic of the deceased loved one and a picture of their message from the other side on Facebook or Instagram that came across yesterday. Just let them know that you saw that. Next, number 9, the baller. This person thinks money ain't a thing. They will require that they be invited or go to the most expensive restaurants or hotels around. This person doesn't own anything, actually. They like to purchase everything on credit. How will you know this person exists? You can know them by their credit score. So, ladies, I encourage you, and men actually, I encourage you to be really nosy in that area, especially if you're over like 30. We don't have time for that. So, how do you deal with this person? You can keep some separate bank accounts until you come to an understanding on how to handle money. So, if that person, obviously they're not good with money, you need to be darn good with money to offset their habits, their spending habits, and also protect yourself from their spending habits as well. I'm not saying that this relationship can't work. I'm saying you need to put some guardrails in place with this person financially. Other ways to deal, don't let them borrow any money that you want back. So I know you're letting them borrow it, but if you never got that money back, would you be okay? You need to think about that before you take out your wallet and let them have it. And also, let you handle the money. This may work. Some marriages are actually like this. If you're really good with money and the other person knows they're not and they're willing to admit it, they may just say, "Hey, I'm going to give you like the majority of my paycheck every 2 weeks. I'm going to keep some for myself and this is the rest of it and I need you to do what you need to do with it." Hey, that's fine. That might actually work. So look out for the baller. Number 8, Mr. Hookup. Now, you may be thinking I'm talking about a certain type of hooking up, but that's not the type of hookup I'm talking about. How you know this person when you meet them? This person will always hang around. They'll be loyal to a fault. However, the catching point is this person is hanging around because they always want to hook up. They always want something for free. They always want to know what kind of perks you have. And they want in on it because they know you. And so they should have that too. Now, you may not mind this, but if you don't, you need to make sure that you always have $20 in your purse. You need to keep extra everything on you, even if it's gum or mints. This person will be very meticulous about taking inventory about what you have and what you don't have, and always find a way that they can get some sort of advantage or discount or hookup or financial benefit from being around you. And don't lend them any money you don't want back. So, any money that you loan this person, air quotes, is a gift, basically. You should treat it like that. So, for example, there's this guy I used to date, and we went out, you know, a, a pretty decent number amount of times. I was to the point where I was comfortable making him dinner. So, I invited him over. I made this big spread. It had like a three-course meal. It was great. It's like the best meal I ever made in my life at that time. I'm sure I made better meals since then, but at the time, that was the best meal I ever made at that age in my 20s. And so, we ate. He thought the food was so good. Everybody's happy, right? And then at the end of the evening, he asked me, "Hey, my gas light was on when I left my house. Can I borrow $20 for gas money?" And I'm like, "You have to be kidding me. Are you serious?" I laughed. I was like, "You're joking, right?" And then I realized after a while when he wasn't laughing with me that he was serious. And so that was concerning to me because I thought in my mind, I'm like, okay, so you knew your gas light was on before you got like even down the road to come see me. And you live like 25, 30 minutes away. So in your mind, you were banking on me, giving you this gas money so that you could get home. You are not sure that you could get home without me loaning you, air quotes. Remember, we talked about what loaning money to this type of person means. So you were just depending on me to do this so you could get home. And so that was a deal breaker for me. But if you don't mind that type of behavior, just make sure you keep extra everything on you and that you're willing to share any and everything. It doesn't matter what it is with no problem. And just like I said, remember any loan that you give, that's a gift. Don't expect that back because it's not coming back. Next, we have Mr. International. This man is exotic. He comes from faraway places. He knows different languages. He's so intelligent. He's culturally inclined. He has a great sense of style and swagger. How else will you know this man when you see him? He's disciplined, he's structured, he's firm in his convictions. He's a stand up guy. However, this man requires submission by any means necessary. Now, what do I mean by that? At one point, I was dating this other guy, and we were in a serious relationship, and I was so excited. I told my sisters about him. I was like, "Oh, he's so great," and I had like the long list of positive attributes about him, and they're like, "Oh, okay, where's he from?" And that really shouldn't be an issue because, my family is multicultural. So I was like, oh, he's from so and so country. I won't say which country so as to not stereotype a whole country of men. But, and they were like, oh, and I said, what do you mean by that? Like, okay, so he's nice now, but just give him a little more time. His Mr. International side would come out. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, what are you talking about? No, he's great. This is the one. We're going to do this. We're going to lock it in. Lo and behold, not too long after that, I I guess I need to explain at the time. I was very driven. I was really worried about my career and moving up the ladder quickly in my job. So I was not Susie Homemaker at all. I I barely cooked for myself. I used to go buy, sometimes breakfast, lunch, and dinner because I could, and I was worried about my job and socializing with friends and doing all that stuff. Not to say I don't know how to do all that stuff in terms of being domesticated and cooking and all that, but it just wasn't my focus at the time. I was young and I was driven and I knew what my priorities were, and I guess they didn't align with his. So one day I am making breakfast and I ask him what he wants. He's like, "Make me some oatmeal." And at the time, I didn't eat oatmeal. So the oatmeal that I did have was just for him in case he ever wanted oatmeal. See how I am? I try. And so I made the oatmeal. I made the oatmeal and then I went to the bathroom to get ready. And so I come back and he's got an attitude with me. And then I was like, "What's wrong?" And he goes off on me like, "Don't you want to bring the oatmeal to me in a bowl and place it in front of me?" And I'm thinking, "Actually, I don't." I mean, you're good that you got me to make it. That's a lot in itself. So I don't know what this extra need for me to place it in front of you is. So I guess, I could have, but that's not what I was thinking about. But the fact that he reacted so strongly to that, he was offended that I didn't place his plate in front of him. You know, that was a big deal to him. And then he went on a tangent saying that, "So you're Miss Corporate America, blah, 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 blah." And he wasn't a fan of that. And, you need to cook and clean on a schedule and put my plate in front of me. And it was just too much for me. I had to cut that off. So be careful and be a little leery of Mr. International. He's very finicky. Next, you have the scientist. This guy is always on a pill of some sort, legal or illegal. And it's not just one. He mixes stuff together. He is so smart and he knows about chemicals and drugs and anything that you can mix together to get an edge or a high, and he justifies it in his mind. Now, I'm not talking about people that actually have to take medication for a diagnosed condition. I'm talking about people that obtain medications used to treat diagnosable conditions and people that mix them together with two or three other things to make this wonder drug that doesn't even exist anywhere. They just mix stuff together and they're always under the influence of something. Yes, I dated this person. He was exciting. He was fun. He was confident. And to this day, I don't even know if that was really him or if that was all the chemicals in his body. But um, they will justify it, and at any given moment, you don't know if you're talking to that person or the illusion of confidence that those chemicals give them. So, if you're with this person, what should you do? You might want to wear some dental dams when kissing, so you're not catching, any sort of contact high from whatever is floating around in their saliva or whatever they just smoke, snorted, or fill in blank. And you might want to keep a list of rehab centers handy in your purse for this person, unfortunately. Sorry, Mr. Scientist. You know who you are. Next, we have number 5, the groom. How will you know this person when you meet him? This person has been married at least twice. And you know what? He might be married right now. You just don't know. You never know. You don't know what he could be hiding or anything. And this person, unfortunately, ladies, he will constantly compare you to his ex-wife. Which one? It doesn't matter. He might switch it up. He might be comparing you to wife number 1 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and wife number 2 might have been, Tuesday, Thursday, and weekends. You just never know what's going to happen with this person. Now, how do you handle this person? To be very optimistic about the situation, you may want to keep a marriage license template on deck at all times because this person doesn't mind getting married. He'll get married in a second. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like. He'll get married to you today as is. But will you stay married? I don't know. I don't know. The odds are not good. Maybe because they always say the third time is a charm. However, um, you might also want to keep an ordained friend or a friend who's an ordained minister handy just in case they get the itch or the urge to get married just one more time. Just one more time. You might want to do that. And you might want to keep a couple t-shirts with your name on them and wear those around the house periodically so you can remind that person what your name actually is and the fact that you're not wife number 1 or 2. Slightly obnoxious, but it might work. Next, we have number 4, the veterinarian. How will you know this person when you meet him? This person will love his pets more than you. And he will not just have a couple of pets, he'll have like 5 or 6 of them. And this person will require those pets to sleep in the bed with you. And you are not supposed to have any issues with that because those are his pets, those are his babies, and they all need to sleep in the bed with you. Now, this is slightly uncomfortable. I don't know about, other people. Some people may love that type of thing. I'm really not that girl. Like I'm good with my one puppy. He's small, he's cute. He doesn't stink, he sheds minimally, and he doesn't keep me up throughout the night. Even then, I don't sleep with him. He has his own little bed, his own little, man cave or dog cave. It's decked out with, plush blankets. We don't sleep together because when I want to roll over in my bed, I don't want to be concerned about rolling him over too. We just have our own space. We respect each other like that. This person just is really adamant about their pets, and there's no way that you will ever come before their pets, so please don't try it. And this may work out fine for you. So, so if you meet this person, it may not bother you, and this may work out for you. If you come across this person, I recommend keeping a lint roller in your purse at all times, hand sanitizer, and body spray just to keep the wet dog smell at bay. Not saying Mr. Veterinarian will have a wet dog smell in his house, but it's highly probable if he has 5 or 6 pets walking around. Next, you have the challenger. Who is this person? This person is driven. He's attractive. Almost like Mr. International, except he is more focused on how he can one up you at all times. So this person constantly needs to have a leg up on you in terms of your success as a woman. And they won't tell you in the beginning, but it'll come out after a while. So, just to add more color to this, I was dating somebody in my early 20s, and we were talking about all of the things that I wanted to do in terms of things outside of work or adventures outside of work. And he seemed really interested at first, like, yeah, that's a great idea. You should do it, blah, blah, blah. And then he got quiet. And then after a while, he said, wait, if you do that, you're going to make more money than me. And I was thinking, so? This is a constant challenge for some couples. Is the man supposed to make more money than the woman? I'm of the mindset it doesn't have to be that way. I know very healthy relationships or people in very healthy relationships where that's not the case. It's actually the opposite, and they're very happy. But the fact that that was a sticking point for him, that was a red flag for me. I don't know, it just didn't sit right with me. So, ladies, if you ever meet this person, you may be asking, well, how do I handle this person when I meet him? I know somebody like that right now. All I have to say is you may want to keep a copy of your tax returns on deck in case you ever have to flex on this person because there's no excuse for voluntarily making less money for somebody just because they can't handle the money that you could make and would make. So I'm sorry. I just have to be very firm on that. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. You could believe differently, but those are my personal convictions. And I just don't see myself saying, you're right. I'll stay over here and stay in my little lane just so I can make you feel good. I don't see me doing that. So you may want to do it, but I wouldn't. And next, we have Mr. Narcissist. This guy is charming, he's in control, he always knows what to say, but he will never apologize for anything or any poor behavior that he demonstrates in terms of disappointing you or anything like that. So, if you meet this person, I highly recommend that you just run in the other direction. There's really no coming back from this guy. You'll have to tell this person how great they are when you wake up and right before you go to bed and in between, your first break, your lunch break and all that. It's not a good deal. And they have no sympathy for any type of pain that they cause you. So I don't recommend getting with a narcissist unless you are narcissistic yourself. Now, if you are a narcissist, ladies, this might work. You may actually want to tell him how great he is. And also, you may require him to tell you how great you are. And it just might work out that way. Who knows? But I'm not that person, so it wouldn't work out for me. And number one, guess what he is? He's Mr. Evangelist. So this person knows what your spiritual convictions are, they know what your beliefs are, and they agree with them at first, and then slowly over time, they try to convert you on the sneak top. It's not really like out in the open. They just do it a little bit here, a little bit there, and over time, they try to convert you. In casual conversation, it will constantly come up. So I used to date this guy, and he knew I was, I think I described it as half heathen, half Christian. So I'm not religious, but I believe in God and the Lord. So I explained that and I thought we were good. And then over time, it would just be funny. We'd be like in the car and we'd have that comfortable silence. We're just riding and cruising. And then he would put something on and it would be like an audio book. And the audio book would be something like, "Hey, did you know there's no God? Did you know that you are God?" Like, and it would just go down it would go down the list of why there's no God and why you are God. And, if that's your belief, honey, that's your belief, but get that away from me. I don't want to listen to that on a road trip. Like, put some music on, anything else but that. Like, I don't know. So that wasn't gonna work out for me. So how do you handle this guy? You need to keep a crucifix and some sage in your purse at all times to cleanse your aura. This person is toxic. They're trying to change you. And I just personally, I don't mess around with that stuff. If you're not in alignment with my energy, like you got to go, especially if you're playing, audio books that tell me there's no God and you are God. That's on a different level. And I don't even want to mess with that. So I kind of lied at the beginning. There's one more guy who didn't make the list yet. And that guy he's the one. He's the one that's meant for you. So my point here is that despite all these different 10 personality types that you may or may not have experienced in your dating life, once again, I'm primarily talking to women. However, this can apply to men too. When you meet the one, you won't have to go through these hurdles, right? That's how you'll know it's the one. You won't have to keep all these things in your purse or your wallet. You won't have to do these checks. You won't have to check the box here, check the box there, or take all these extra precautions to keep yourself safe. You will feel safe just by being around that person. They will protect you emotionally, in addition to protecting you physically, but they'll be emotionally protective and think of how you feel. They'll take consideration of your feelings. You won't feel the need to pretend with this person. And that was the whole reason for me putting this together. You will be your natural true self with this person and it will be comfortable. So, despite all the shenanigans that guy 1 through 10 may present and bring to the table, the one is out there. So, don't give up. And I know everybody's dating in a time of coronavirus, but it's okay. It's going to work out. This is not permanent. And hang in there. I'm still hanging in there. I still have hope. So we'll see what happens. All right. This one was kind of short. I've been doing some serious podcasts lately, so I figured I would throw this one in there. It's more fun, it's more lively. Hopefully, you got a chuckle or two out of it, if nothing else. But if you have any comments on this or anything to add to the list, or if you're a guy that wants to add the female versions of these personality types to the list, maybe I'll do a female version based on the guys voting. But you can email me at info@nattygalproductions.com. So it's NATTYGYAL productions.com. Thank you for listening. It's your girl Tosh signing off. Until next time, stay safe.